Okay, folks, things are getting crazy in Gates, Oregon. I suppose you want to know how the votes turned out on my recall. Well, stick around and I'll tell you. Welcome to the Oregon Hot Rod Experience, where we're going to share information with you. We're going to show you our successes and our failures, our mistakes and our solutions. We'll go on adventures, we're going to build cars, we'll do shop projects, and we'll do a whole bunch more. But most of all, we're going to entertain you with reality and stupidity. So subscribe now and continue to watch the Oregon Hot Rod Experience. Okay, so the vote has come in and it hasn't been certified yet. But myself and fellow councilmen, we both got recalled. However, there's a little glitch in the process that I never caught until just today. I went going back through and was reading our city charter and some other papers and stuff like that. And seeing that when you're running for office or any of that you can't, the electors in the city can only sign one petition. They can't sign more than one petition or whatever. And so that made me wonder about, well, the recall petition. So I went back and looked at the recall petition and my name wasn't on it. The other councilor's name was on it. My name was nowhere to be mentioned in the petitions to recall. So I go, then how in the heck did they put me on the recall if nobody signed a petition to recall me? So tomorrow I got to check with the city officials and with the county, Marion County, and find out what gives. What the heck? Did somebody like drop the ball here? Did somebody not pay attention? Is somebody trying to play some tricky junk? So anyway, keep checking back on that. It'll be interesting to find out what happens. So during the meantime, I'm going to take you out to the shop. We're going to get started on the rat rod, the International Rat Rod, and get working on it. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do, what we've got to do, and what it's going to take to get that done. So stick around and we're going to head out to the shop. Okay, so I'm down here at the rat rod. I've got it down into my lower shop where I've got most of my fabrication stuff at. And what I've got to do to the rat rod is kind of change it up. I made a couple of mistakes in building it. The frame is the major concern because it was, the frame was like one of my, is the first frame I've ever built, complete frame. And so, although I took a lot of precautions and did a lot of reading, done all this other stuff, I still made mistakes. The biggest of those mistakes is in the front. So right here, if you look at it, what I did is I made a 90-degree angle on the frame. Now this is not good. This is you know, although everything's braced up really well, it's really strong, I only have just a couple of inches of clearance from the front. And right here, when you're talking 90 degrees, if I was to hit anything here, it would stop dead right here. And and I wouldn't. It would cause major problems, and probably warp the frame, bend the frame. Who knows what else? So the plan is that I need to cut this section out. I need to cut it from here all the way up into here, and then bring this at an angle coming up. By bringing it at an angle, then if I hit anything, then it'll just glance off and it'll go under. So that's my plan. The other thing that I have to deal with is the motor mounts. I don't know if we can see them very well in here, but hell, maybe I can get it up underneath here. Anyway, this here's the motor mount, and it goes down, and what wound up happening when I set it up originally, you know, I put the motor mounts in, I got everything setting in there and everything looked good. And when I actually got this thing up and running and got ready to start doing the final stages of it, I realized that I need to put in some new motor mounts. I went and bought new motor mounts and started to put them in, and they didn't fit, and the angle on the motor mount was wrong. And so what I got to do is I got to pull the engine out. I got to pull this whole front end off of the car, pull the radiator out, all this, everything, pull the engine and transmission out, because I got to fix an oil leak. The rear main seal is leaking in the engine. There's also a leak in the transmission. I can't figure out exactly where that's at. I replaced the pan gasket, but it still seems to have a leak, so we're going to figure that out. So that means everything's got to come off. I got to put a connector in the front wiring harness here. Means I'm going to have to pull all this out. And what I want to do also is, as you can see, the front end has not been painted. It's all ugly and everything else. And so I want to go ahead and pull the front axle out, and the wishbone and everything, and repaint it so it's all finished up and complete. Also, because of all this other stuff, I'm probably going to have to redo the headlights as well, readjust those. When I went to put the shocks on the front end, my bolt hole was right in here, and that distance from here to here was too short for the shocks that I had. And so these need to be extended up about 2 inches for everything to fit right. Then there's other things. I got a little piece that's got to go down underneath on the bottom here to bring this, to strengthen up the bottom of the grill. And then of course we've got the bed in the back here. I've got this cedar to put in here. It has to be all finished off yet, and sanded down and fitted. I mean, it's all fitted, but it's got to be leveled out. The boards, there's different thicknesses on them, I realized, and so I'm going to have to run them through a planer and make them all the same thickness and stuff, so I can finish that off. Get my strips, and to do that. Also make a cover for the battery box in the back here. Finish off my little bit of genius here. I've got a clear cover for that, and I've made a copper ring to go around that, so that'll be another one of the projects. But everything else, I mean, the interior is pretty well done. I got to put in some sound deadener, and I'll put carpet in, and just kind of get everything all finished off in the interior. The tach's working, all the gauges are working, the keys, shifter, everything inside is working really well. So that's not an issue. So the big issue is, like I said, the big issue is the frame. And with that comes a whole lot of other little problems to take care of all at the same time. It's going to be probably take me a little bit, probably take a few weeks to a couple of months to get it all finished off. But I'll be video this real close and everything, is how I go about changing up the frame, making everything fit correctly. There shouldn't be too many problems. A couple of angles is probably going to change that. I don't really anticipate any issues in, but part of it is going to be by changing the lower part here. Let me explain further. This part here, because of the way that it is, I've only got 3 fingers of clearance down here. I mean, you can just barely see 3 fingers of clearance from the ground. This needs to come up. It needs to come up to about 4 inches. That's a safe level. So I'm going to take 1.5 inches out of this here, and so this here will all drop down, and this will come up and bring this thing up, give me about 4 more inches, or another 1.5 inches of clearance here, and it'll shorten this up a little bit, and then the angle and stuff. So pretty much this whole front end, once everything's out, is going to get cut off and reconstructed. So it's going to be a bear, but when it's done, I'll have a nice, safe vehicle to drive, and it'll look good. Everything will fit right, and I can feel comfortable going down the road and being safe in it. So, and that's the main thing. I mean, if you're going to build one of these things, build it to be safe. Safety is number one. And so, thinking about all the little things that could go wrong is major in this thing. But if you haven't watched, if you haven't watched any of my other videos, you should watch them in constructing this here. I've got a lot of them on Facebook, the phases that I've went through in doing all this, and building the car, because it's been an adventure doing. Like I say, this here is my first and my only car that I've ever built from the ground up. I have built a lot of cars. I've hot rodded them, fixed them, wrecked them, trashed them, you name it. And I've done I don't know how many cars. I think I've had probably in the vicinity of 300 to 500 cars in my lifetime. 95% of those all been classic cars of one sort or another. It's kind of fun when I go to the car shows. I can go, I've owned that, and it gets pretty interesting. My friends, they're kind of amazed that most of the time I can tell you within a year or two of what pretty much any car is and what its make is, just simply by looking at it and not even knowing anything about it. So anyway, it's fun. This is Ron, Oregon Hot Rod. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy the channel, please subscribe, hit the notification button so you know when I put out some new videos. And hey, keep coming back, and peace, man.